Wednesday, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time do you need to leave?
In an hour's time.
Oh, okay, alright. Do you want to get yourself a brew or anything?
No, I'm alright.
You sure?
Yeah. Oh.
So how you doing?
I'm quite well.
Yeah?
But Pomo's been backing off quite a lot while I'm at work.
Oh, that's good. Do you feel a bit happier about that?
Yeah.
So when you say Pomo backing off, does that mean he's not bothering you when you're at work?
Not as much.
Right, so still a little bit, but not quite as bad as it was.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. What about when you're at home?
When I'm at home, it's on and off.
Right.
But they've realised a lot about how I'm innocent and stuff, so...
Oh, okay. So does that mean there's less going on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But I guess the shoe is on the other foot a little bit, and I'm trying to kick them back, kick them into touch a bit.
Okay. So when you say you're trying to kick him into touch, what are you doing?
I'm sort of understanding that there's so much missing in my life because of what they've been doing that it's not MI5's fault, because it's complicated, but I joined GCHQ, conscripted into it.
Right.
By this form I filled in. It wasn't an application form in the end, it was a conscription.
Right, okay, so this is a new realisation, is it?
No.
No, oh sorry, I just hadn't heard that distinction before.
And it's basically, there are the police.
Yeah.
There are people who are subordinated by the police because they were criminals in some way.
Okay.
Like a druggie or whatever. Then those people target people who are nasty weirdos. But I'm supposed to be above police as GCHQ's dirty little secret spy who kills police, paedophiles and hunters.
Right, okay.
And
you're right, it is complicated, isn't it?
well, not kills, but
exposes?
No, castrates.
Right.
If they don't meet certain standards.
Okay.
And they have to live to certain standards if they're to have children, basically.
Right.
From me.
Right.
And that's what it should have been anyway. But what it has been is GCHQ leaving me to it for 11 years, hoping I'd come back to them with something nice to hear.
Right.
But they didn't give me the equipment. They expected me to pick it up from a doctor in a hospital somewhere.
Okay.
I.e. the radio equipment to people's minds.
Okay. But you didn't get any of that equipment, so you didn't pick any of it up, and so you haven't been able to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. Okay.
And MI5 attacked me on the fact that false allegations were spread. And these MI5 are like police subordinates, I believe, in some way. I don't know why, but I'd assume that they're criminals or have tried manipulating things a bit too much.
Right. Okay. So.
And
go on.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I've been left in the lurch by GCHQ. MI5 have attacked me non-stop for 11 years, as they do, with people they believe are criminals. So I don't blame them in a way, but I blame who started on me within MI5. He became MI5 after being a mental patient in 2010, 11.
Right, okay.
And he was known as Ronnie Kemp, I believe.
Well, he was your neighbour, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his mum was something to do with the local mind, yeah.
She was in women's group and things like that.
Right, okay. Did you go to Mind in that area? No. Okay.
I just heard this.
Right.
I've noticed what Mind are through people in mental hospital and things, and people in my past, from a friend's mum, basically. We used to play climbing trees and whatever, and but she'd manipulate little games for us to play, I believe. And I think my whole life has been a setup now, with a huge joke behind it, for society over something or other that my grandmother thought, because she's a powerful lady, I believe.
What, your grandma?
She's Granny Beach, Granny Hazel Beach.
That's your mum's mum.
Yeah. And
Is she still alive or?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Grandpa is too.
Right. You stayed with them, didn't you, at one time?
Yeah.
Didn't you go and live with them for a little while?
2 months in Northampton.
Yeah.
Just before mental hospital.
Yes, I know.
And just before someone stole my penis.
Right, so you came back to Trafford from your grandparents, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So how does all of this kind of impact on your mood, really, and how you feel about things?
Well, there's constant pressure from defamatory tactics being used all the time, from the possession and from the spivs in my head, who have control of my neurology and monitoring it.
So you feel controlled all the time, do you?
Yeah, I feel I have a certain level of free will, but they can clamp down on anything they want with other people as well.
So what sorts of things have they stopped you doing?
Forming friendships, happiness, getting too many women aware of it, what's happened, because they know how it works now, from me on Twitter, remembering it.
So you feel that they've stopped you having relationships, whether it's with friends or romantic relationships?
I believe it to be the police and the Freemasons, and to a certain degree women in general believing these false allegations in the first place.
Right. You don't.
That I was never told about.
Okay. So you use Twitter. I know you use Twitter quite a lot. Do you use any other social media platforms?
No, not really. There's
No.
Facebook.
Do you
I don't use it that much.
No, it's a bit of an old person's thing, isn't it, these days, Facebook? What about Instagram or
No.
WhatsApp? Well,
Yeah, I use WhatsApp just as a message thing.
Right, is that with family and friends and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're not aware of any incel groups?
Incel?
Yeah. No. Okay.
No.
That's fine.
What's that?
It's a kind of ideology that's around that's basic or is misogynistic.
Okay.
So I'm just checking in with you that you have, because when you kind of use social media, you kind of get sent stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're sort of, I don't know if what you've, I mean, I know most of your tweets are about MI5 and GCHQ and the things that have happened to you, rather than
They've been a little bit misogynistic in a way, because I know women to be at the heart of it,
right.
and it's where they heard these rumours that were spread by GCHQ that they've taken it upon themselves to switch everything. Ronnie was supposed to be the patient and my target, and he was supposed to do these things as an MI5 target,
right.
according to my standards, in order to have children in his life. But for whatever reason, they believed these rumours, and that was that. I was labelled all sorts of things. I believe in secret. I've noticed Freemasons now switching who's who when they're talking, and
Do you talk to a lot of Freemasons?
I just notice what they do.
Oh, okay.
They repeat what I say,
Right.
as if it's something they've just thought, because they want to take credit for it, so they can block and switch and everything Pomo can do.
Okay.
And I'm not a Freemason yet, and I know what it is. It's sort of women's friends, I believe.
Right.
And I was never let in because my grandmother had a plot, and she used my uncle to be my thoughts to everyone at school, to everyone since then. And it's just a tragic mess, because I'm not going with their plot for me.
Okay. Would you be willing to accept the theory that people can't control other people's thoughts? Or would you be willing to consider that might not be possible, that one's thoughts can be controlled by somebody else?
Well, I know I have my own thoughts,
Yeah, yeah.
and I've got free will to a certain extent, but they are trying to chip away at me
Yeah. But
with what they're allowed to do.
okay. But you said there that your grandma used your uncle to influence people's thoughts. So would you be willing to accept that actually that might not be the case, or consider that might not be the case?
I think my grandmother gets a lot of money from American intelligence, or used to anyway, and it's all based on this plot she's made up when she became MI5 for whatever reason.
Okay.
And she was a criminal, according to police, and had to do these things.
Right. So how long have you felt that your grandma was involved in this plot? I know your uncle has been, because he was in the police, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think he's MI5 now.
Right.
I've
So how
been
long have
told.
you had these thoughts or beliefs about your grandma?
It's only been recent that I've thought this. But I'm really angry and deep-seatedly furious and upset.
Have you thought about what you might do with that anger?
Well, I've threatened things on Twitter, but
Yeah, because your uncle made you take down a tweet, didn't he?
yeah. He's a very funny man, but he's a nasty piece of work as a police officer.
I thought he was retired now, didn't you tell me?
Yeah, but he's a manipulator, and he's good at it. So he's got Granny's help as well, and she's a mastermind of that kind of playing games. And
Did you ever talk to your mum about these beliefs about your granny and your uncle? Or do you keep them to yourself from Twitter?
I think she has weird beliefs about me as well. She thinks I'm an enemy of the Freemasons because I thought I was looking into the Freemasons on the internet and said what they were, according to the internet site, said they're just disgusting bastards. But she said he's the enemy of the Freemasons to my grandfather, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I can't even trust her a bit. So it's
Okay.
sort of where I need to be loved by one woman though, and they keep claiming that someone does by saying things to an American or something.
It's all very kind of circular, isn't it? It's all kind of very, you know, this over here is this person and that person, and then this has happened, and there's nothing direct, is there? There's no direct. It's all kind of a bit oblique.
There is a structure to it though that I know, and it's circumstances for childbirth
Right.
that people have to do in MI5, I believe,
Right.
or the police. The police administer them for them, and I gave them to the police for them to do.
Right.
One of them was win the Tour de France 5 times. That's happened. One of them was talking to me constantly.
So who won it 5 times again?
Geraint Thomas plus Chris Froome plus Bradley Wiggins is 6 times.
Not the same person then?
No.
Right, okay. I didn't think of anybody, maybe somebody did, but it was a while ago.
Chris Froome got close,
Yeah.
but he fell off his bike.
He did, he broke his shoulder, didn't he? Was it this year?
Yeah, that might be for me also.
Yeah. Okay. So how is, with all of this going on, how is work?
Well, it's a little bit strained at the moment because I've noticed, one, that they're all Freemasons who are taking the piss and blocking my thoughts, and trying to sort of take credit for them all the time with women who are listening.
No, it's across the road.
Okay.
So all your co-workers are Freemasons.
Yeah.
And they're blocking your thoughts.
They're blocking them from being transmitted to women.
Right, and stopping your thoughts being transmitted to women. Why would you want your thoughts transmitted to women?
Because they're good about women.
Okay.
Usually.
You know, I would not want my thoughts transmitted to anybody. Frankly.
It's just a fact that they do.
Would you be willing to accept that, or would you be willing to consider that that might not be a thing that is possible?
I just don't think it's true, that it's not possible.
Right.
Because
are you able to block people's thoughts?
I should be.
Are you
but
able
with technology, not with things I can think to do it.
Okay.
Rather than someone doing it for me in the police.
So okay, so you've got this feeling that all your co-workers are Freemasons that are blocking your thoughts. So how's that making you feel about your co-workers and your work? Because that's the important thing. Because I mean, I'm guessing the work, having a job is quite important for your sort of self-esteem and self-confidence. And I'm guessing it's more money than you were getting on benefits. So the money's nice as well.
Yeah, the money's nice. They've taught me how to gamble.
How to gamble?
Yeah. But win. I won 650 quid. On like a roulette thing.
Right. So
because it's impossible to lose eventually.
Okay. So who's taught you to gamble, and where was the machine?
It was on 888 Casino.
So is this an online thing?
Yeah. So
who taught you to do that? Your co-workers?
Yeah. And they do it at work for 3 or 4 hours a day.
You're joking?
And I feel peer pressured into not working with them. But I'm too much of a goody two-shoes and keep wanting to work.
Yeah.
but I do sit with them for maybe 20 minutes for a bit of a break.
Okay. I would not get into gambling if I were you, Jack.
Yeah.
I know you won 650 quid, but I imagine that's quite unusual
Yeah.
for this particular game. There's a lot of stuff at the moment about gambling addiction. It can be really, really difficult.
Well, I can see why though.
Yeah,
It's,
because
you do win eventually on this game because they
Yeah.
have a big payout every day and they advertise it that way. And if
Well-
you keep playing all day, you do get it.
yeah, but my concern would be that somebody gets it, but it might not be you.
There are so many people piling stupid money into it
Yeah.
that they keep profitable somehow.
Well, the only winners in a gambling situation are the gambling organisations. They just pay out enough
Yeah.
to the punters
Yeah.
to keep them hooked and keep them coming back.
Well, these winnings I've just won has covered all gambling I've ever done.
So you actually haven't won any money?
Not overall,
No.
but over my lifetime, I mean, like playing the lottery, and
Right.
it's covered all of that.
Okay.
So I might leave it at that.
I think, yeah.
'Cause it is
Because eventually it almost doesn't become about the winning anymore. After a while, it becomes just about the playing of the game or the doing it, and actually losing is just as.
It was just annoying that they were tripling their wages at work doing it. So I thought I'd do it at the weekend and I won 650 quid.
God. Yeah, these. I think there must be 2 or 3 boxes for that house. These gambling websites, they're really good at sucking people in and getting people hooked.
Yeah.
And they'll send you emails saying, oh, you haven't played for a while. Do you want to increase your limit? We'll give, for every £10 you put on, we'll put a fiver on. They really try and suck you in and keep you hooked. So I would, if you do have an account, I would disable the account and disable the email notifications function as well. Otherwise, you'll keep getting emails from them. And there, as I say, there's a lot of stuff,
But
come out recently about gambling addiction and
the
stuff.
confusing thing is with this thought transmission stuff going on at work. I know that someone's giving me a bad foot with it. And they keep stealing my ideas and stealing my compliments of people and things, and saying them out loud in front of me what I've just said in my head, and
Right.
it's like they want me to be one of them at first.
So what do you want to do about work then?
I don't know. It's just because I've snitched on them now not working a little bit. I hinted at them not working today to one of the bosses, and they went around looking suspiciously suspicious of them
Right.
to my colleagues, and the ones that are not working noticed that they were looking around for them and said to everyone who's been snitching on us, who's been backstabbing, and
All you got to do is do your job, actually.
yeah,
Do the job that you're paid for. That really
Yeah, but-
annoys me that people don't do it.
but they know it's me because they're Freemasons. They're just not allowed to say, and they do know it. They're angry at me for
Has anybody said anything directly to you?
yeah.
So who said what?
What do you think about Lydia? And
Who's Lydia?
the boss.
Oh, okay. That could just be, what do you think about Lydia as our boss? That could,
No, it was in relation to how she was marching around looking for us all day after what I'd said.
So you'd hinted to her
Yeah,
that not everybody was working as hard as they should.
yeah.
What had you actually said to her?
That they take drugs at lunchtime. They
So you didn't actually hint, you said, you came right out and said it, didn't you?
They gamble for 4 hours a day. I didn't say that, I just said they go on the computers.
So what drugs do people take at work?
Weed.
Are people smoking cannabis?
Yeah.
And what is it they're supposed to do? What is the job that you're...
It's a building services assistant. It is a boring job. It doesn't really need doing. And that's their problem with it. But I sort of have a work ethic from a background of work that's a bit different. And they're all young young men
Yeah.
who don't understand what work is really.
Yeah, whereas you've got more of a work ethic. And does it annoy you that they smoke weed and gamble and don't really do the job?
Well,
or get paid?
I sort of admire it in a way, but but it does annoy me that they expect me to cover for them all the time and don't appreciate that in any way, other than by letting me in on this gambling trick.
Right.
Which might be the payment for it, I guess, but it's...
So are you all contractors, all agency staff?
Yeah.
Right, so it's contracted out by the university? Yeah. Right. Well, I guess it's for... So did you make an official?
In a way, yeah. I
Okay.
sent an email and then had a meeting.
Right, okay.
Secretly.
Right, okay.
But I think they knew.
They know it's you?
I think they know.
Well, I mean, it may be because, as you say, you're older, you've got a different work ethic, you're not part of their gang, as it were, and I think it's difficult to be a kind of whistleblower, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know.
Okay.
She's gone about it in a strange way, Lydia. She's trying to search for them, or apparently trying to search for them.
I'd keep your head down. Just
Yeah.
go to work, do your job, come home. Don't get involved with them, their clique, gambling and smoking weeds, and just say, I'm just...
She did go up to 007, the room that we always hung out in, a bit. I only did a bit, but they did a lot. It's a room that's just out of the way, round the corner.
Yeah.
But they're always horsing around, dicking around, and making a lot of noise, and some lecturers can hear them and things. So it's just a bad culture to be working in.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
But it might change in the next month because we're contracted for another month.
Right. Okay.
I might get fined for being a snitch and not being a part of the gang, sort of thing.
But if you're if all of these guys, if none of them are actually employed directly by the university, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's not likely that there's going to be, like that management thing, where a manager will cover. Lydia, who presumably is employed by the university, is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's the person who has oversight. She'll be interested in having value for money for the university, won't she?
In a way.
So
You'd think. But I don't know if there's an even bigger plot above that, with me being the target of it.
right.
It's going wrong because I've noticed it all.
Okay, I would try just to focus on the here and now rather than seeing bigger and bigger ripples going out from this for the time being. You need to look after yourself in the middle of this. You've done what you've done, and that's probably the right thing to do, the honourable, ethical thing to do. And you'll just have to see how that pans out.
It's hard though, 'cause they're interrogating me.
What, the guys?
Yeah.
just go, I don't know what you're talking about, I've got rounds to do, or I've got a chair to move, or whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
Just go to work and do your job. If you feel intimidated or pressured or bullied in any way, you've already started the process, so you need to kind of continue with it. So any incidents like that from your co-workers that make you feel, I would go to Lydia, I would go to your manager with that.
Yeah. What I could do is record secretly, but it's a bit cheeky and wrong.
Yeah, I would only do that in a situation where you feel you're being bullied, pressured or intimidated, where it directly affects you. Do you know what I mean? Just because I'm not clear as to what the regulations rules are about secret recordings and stuff. You've started a process of investigation by sending the email and having the meeting.
But their interrogation of me is evidence in itself of them being guilty of it.
Nobody's asked you to gather any more information, have they?
No.
No. So leave it where it is.
Okay.
Is my advice.
Yeah.
But as I say, if you feel intimidated, bullied, pressured, then I would go back to your manager and report those incidents. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have savings, I suppose, is the next question.
What for?
Well, I'm just thinking, if this contract comes to an end, you're going to have to reapply for your benefits, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it may well be that you get another contract afterwards. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it could take up to about 6 weeks before any benefits can get paid after you start an application. So I just want to make sure that you've got enough money to kind of tide you through that period, just in case.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That might be worth having a think about, mightn't it?
Yeah.
Just kind of protecting your own financial position, because it can take a while. I mean, it might be that the contract gets renewed, or that your contract gets renewed, or you get another contract through your agency. Because you got this pretty quick, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could do with speaking to Lydia about that, but I don't know when they're doing interviews. They did ask for us to apply for the job, the permanent role.
Ah, did you? You did? Oh, good. So in a sense,
I don't think she gets how serious it is, though, the hint about being on the computers every now and again. I think she thinks it's just, oh, they were looking at I don't know, shopping for a minute, but they were gambling for 4 hours, 5 hours a day.
Yeah. It's up to you if you want to expand on the original disclosure that you've made.
Yeah.
I would not get involved in kind of gathering evidence, recording people and things like that, because that could lead to difficulties for you.
Yeah.
And see, so when are the interviews for the permanent positions then?
I don't know.
Don't know, but you've applied. Yeah. But you have applied. Okay. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. So you might have a permanent job at the end of this contract.
Yeah. We might all have a permanent job.
Well, that could be awkward.
Yeah. That's what I mean. She's not. That's what we're going to lead on to. She's not seen them for being bad yet, but she's she's had a report from above and below now.
Oh, so there's somebody else has reported some of them.
Yeah.
So it's not just you. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. So there's corroborating evidence from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which supports your.
They do observe what goes on, like the cleaners, the health and safety staff, the IT technicians,
so
the building management system.
Yeah. So do you have a log on then for the?
Yeah.
for the computers.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. So what do you have to do with the why?
We had to train on them.
Oh, I see. So you had to do some mandatory training.
They've gotten used to the training, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
Sitting around on a computer.
Right. Okay. But if there's quite a lot of these computers, university computers, educational establishment computers will have kind of software on them that will log unusual activity. So for instance, if there's anything, pornography for example, that will be flagged up within the IT department, I would imagine. So it might be that gambling websites also get flagged up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they'll certainly be able to. I would have thought they could track somebody's IP and when they logged on and how long you're on for and stuff.
I don't know what to think of it, because it is one of those cool things that's admirable, but it's it's heavily taking the piss in a way.
It is taking the mickey because they're being paid to do a job, and they're not doing it, which seems to suggest that maybe they don't need as many of these of your role as they think they do. I don't know, Jack. I think you've done the ethical thing.
Yeah. There's just a bit of storm before.
Yeah, you just need to look after yourself in the middle of that, don't you? So I'm not surprised. Are you feeling a bit stressed by it?
Yeah. I have to work alongside them, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's hard, isn't it?
And they keep wanting to sit down and talk about it and get to the bottom of it. Why she was so suspicious.
Yeah. Just deny everything.
Yeah.
Just deny it. Dunno.
That's what I've been doing.
Gotta go.
Yeah. But I've reported that in a text the other day. I said they're suspicious that there's no tension between us, we get on well, but because she said to Josh, is there any tension between you and the others? And I don't know, it's the wrong question, I think.
Yeah.
Because it set them off thinking, why is she thinking that? Because they are quite clever at getting away with things.
Yeah, street smarts, isn't it? It's that kind of, We've got time, Well, I suppose you want to get ready, don't you, for work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation you've found yourself in, and not fair on you, really. You just want to go to work, do a job and go home, don't you? You don't want to get embroiled in all this nonsense, but just look after yourself in the middle of that.
Yeah.
How are you sleeping at the minute? If you're saying that the spivs and pomo have backed down a bit, are you sleeping a bit better? Because it was waking you up about 3 o'clock in the morning and stuff, wasn't it?
It's now 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's which is better, isn't it?
It's just about social hours.
That's an extra 2 hours sleep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll let you finish getting ready. Do you know, so how far in advance do you get your rotas? Do you just get a week at a time?
We get 2 weeks at a time.
2 weeks
but they sort of, every 2 weeks we'll get the next 2 weeks.
Right, okay. So when's your next depot due?
I think it's on my phone. The 10th of November.
Okay. Right, and do you know what shift you're working that day? Just in case if you want to come early, I can let them know.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could come at 9, half 9.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be great. Now the other thing I need to say is if Sue could look at the post again, if she's had anything from the DVLA.
Oh right, okay.
I've lost my driving licence now for the time being.
What do you mean you've lost it?
It's a 1-year medical licence and it's over now. So
right. Oh, so
it has
you
to be
can't.
renewed.
So you can't drive.
No,
Oh, okay.
it needs a doctor's say so. DVLA.
DVLA is shocking at the minute.
Yeah.
There's an absolute shocking backlog of stuff. There's been so many complaints about them, which is not great for people like you.
Yeah. I don't need it for work here.
Yeah, but it's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, just for going to the shops and things.
Right, so when did that end?
It was the 14th.
Of October?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check.
It,
I haven't
it
seen
might be way back the letter.
Yeah, it should have been sent to her probably about at least 4 to 8 weeks before that.
But
Okay.
I can phone them and get them to send another one maybe.
Yeah, try getting in touch with them. It's a bit of a nightmare getting in touch with them, to be fair. I ended up having to write a letter on behalf of my dad because he applied for because he's over 80, he had to reapply for his driving licence. And he sent it off and still hasn't had anything, so we ended up writing to him. Sorry, that's dull for you, I realise. Okay, so you don't know what you're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks?
No.
But you're in for depot on the 10th.
Yeah.
And you prefer to come in early if possible for that one.
Yeah.
Right, your CPA is due, your care plan is due for review, not till the middle of December, but we probably should try and book a time to do that in the not too distant future. So maybe next time, if you let me know what your races are in the next sort of 2-3 weeks when you know, then we can try and sort something out. Okay.
Yeah.
And did the police come and visit you, by the way?
A while back.
Did they? And how, was that okay? Were you happy with that?
I don't know, I can't remember what I said. They didn't answer my question really.
Right, because you've made another complaint, haven't you, recently? Filled another online form.
Yeah, it's about the whole system of Great Britain just attacking me when I don't know why.
To be fair, I think that might be a bit beyond the remit of GMP. You know, GCHQ and MI5 and the whole system of Britain and all of that might be a bit beyond their remit.
Yeah.
And I suppose their difficulty is if there's no physical evidence of the things that you disclose, it's difficult again for them to sort of follow that up.
There's just a lack of looking into it, to be honest.
Right.
There's no one checking my DNA and things.
Well, I suppose the difficulty is we don't know what your DNA was, so we don't know what may have changed, if anything at all.
You can see if it's the same as the rest of my body.
Right. Oh, okay.
But it's
I don't know how one would check that, Jack, to be fair.
well, I've had it done at KCL, King's College London in London. I can't read the graph though.
So why did you have your DNA done in London?
Because I believed I'd been castrated.
And what did that say? Or what
I
did
don't know yet. Still not looked at the graph properly. I don't know what it means.
So that was a while ago, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was in 2015.
Right. All right then, Jack. Well, just take it easy at work. All right. Try not to get too stressed by it.
Yeah.
Don't get too sucked into the clique at work, and we'll just see how things go over the next few weeks. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave you to get ready for work. Thanks for kind of fitting me in.
That's alright.
And let me know what your rotas are sort of in a couple of weeks' time, and then we'll review your care plan. Okay.
Okay. said, we are sick in our heads of people knowing this because of you. Hurt her to know it.